This is Game 4 of the NACT Fall Season Grand Finals.
Game 4, match point. Mobazane finally gets the Julian, finally has something a little more comfortable, I think, in the hands of him. Will it be enough? You know, you mentioned the Lolita Wheezy, and I kind of like it. Like, yes, the Numeon Blast is going to be hard to hit, but also you get this Bulwark to deal with Zia. You get this Bulwark to deal with the primal wrath from Fried Chicken. You just have some answers, right? And not only that, Cold World's known, and Cloud9 is known for attacking from angles, catching a team off guard. And if Cold World can kind of sit in a bush and wait for the right time for that Numeon Blast, it could definitely be huge, paired up with the Frigid Glacier, paired up with Nats, paired up with the rest of the team.
And we're going to be watching out for that, especially when this first turtle spawns in, to see how both sides decide to engage. I mean, even Zane on the Julian, right? Technically, it's an early game jungler. I mean, he can be very effective. Doesn't even traditionally have a true ultimate, but able to enhance his skills entirely to add more to his kit.
Yeah, and that kind of leads to a lot of the early game that can really benefit them. Cold World actually taking a lot of damage, while Mobazane inside the enemy's jungle here, trying to refuse some of that farm to the side of Cloud9.
Yeah, so now at this point, Cloud9, I mean, they don't have to rush this, right? They have decent late game potential with basic. Best player's going to scale, and there goes a big fracture, already putting fear into BTK, forcing them a little bit out bay. We need to see that same type of aggression coming from BTK in the next minute or so to at least put some pressure on either off lanes, mid. Someone has to feel it.
Yeah, and I mean, we need to see how Zane kind of plays his objective. You've seen some early rotations. Look at him. He's already on this turtle. But Cloud9, they're grouped up, looking like they're going to look for a possible counterplay.
Yeah, they're definitely wanting to catch Shark or somebody rotating through that mid-L bush before this objective happens. And it's been the name of the game for Cloud9. They have been so great at setting up these objective fights by finding these pickoffs, by finding these kills onto BTK.
And so Turtle goes over to Mobazane. BTK feeling confident, feeling comfy. They take a gold lead, which in previous games, even when they got a Turtle or so, it didn't translate to a huge gold lead. Normally, Cloud9 did very well at kind of just outmaneuvering them on the map to make sure they stayed a little ahead in farm. So BTK with a nice advantage right now.
Yeah, and you got to ask the question, what was Cloud9 doing when allowing BTK to take this turtle? I mean, they didn't technically find a trade-off. They didn't get a kill. They didn't chunk into any of the turrets across the map. And so pretty much it was a free turtle to the side of the Bloodthirsty Kings. And now a little bit of a punish on the bot side. Cold World taken down to about 75% HP, but able to sustain himself.
Well, when it comes to the question of what they were doing, I want to say that they just didn't have vision. They didn't know where they were, and they don't like this early fight. They aren't trying to take those 50-50. They're looking for guaranteed fight wins, and they're going to be looking for a little bit of the power spikes. They've been so good at knowing when those spikes come, knowing what fights they can take, and kind of backing off from the fights that they may or less, maybe not too confident in.
And so at this point, when does the balloon pop, right? When does the ceasefire end? When does somebody finally make the move? Cold World can't be as aggressive as he was, you know, on other heroes. He's on the Lolita right now. He has to almost play either more ambush or response, right? Try to time that Numeon Blast at the perfect time. So I feel like Cloud9, it's one of the reasons why they didn't go for that, you know, didn't try to force that first turtle. It's one of the reasons why they're kind of playing more on their side of the map. They kind of want BTK to come to them. So does BTK, you know, bite the bait? Do they win out if they go for the engage? Or do both teams just kind of play this waiting game?
Yeah, and right now we're going to kind of see how this plays out. I mean, without throwing a punch out first, especially allowing that turtle to walk to the side of BTK, not finding a trade-off, you can only do that for so long, especially against a team like BTK who thrives on taking these early game objectives. And right now you're seeing the next turtle spawn in, and Chicken already pulling the aggro, Shark and Hoon getting in position, and Mobazane possibly following up after this jungle rotation.
Yeah, he is. They're vying for a position right now, looking for an angle. You see best player still keeping vision. Nath doing a great job playing this front line.
Here's the front line. Food able to take down Cold World. No Numeon Blast for Cloud9. Best player may be next. Retribution comes out from Zane, though, trying to stop best player. Zia will find basic. You're going to see Fried Chicken joining the party. Demonic Course. There's that Phobius we've been talking about, though. Chicken very low. Marcuti able to shut him down. That is going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but Mobazane does not have the Retribution since he used it on best player.
Yeah, that hurt right there. Just going for nats right there, and this man is dunking and dunking. There's two of you on him, but you're not able to get the kill, and then they kill one of yours. That is moral breaking.
Not just that, but I want to say they kind of did very well in that fight. Were able to find 2 kills there, but end up losing the objective. They have to push back because of that retribution. Not the play you want to make at the end, and an objective is on the line.
Yeah, but Zia able to take the turret on the bot side, so there are some answers still working in BTK's favor, effectively finding a trade for that turtle. I mean, they have a turtle of their own, so it's not the hardest loss. I would still say BTK is still in a good position. They haven't lost a turret so far.
And Mobazane does have Bloodwings in. For the first time, I think, in every game, he's actually a little bit ahead in gold. His clear is able to keep up, if not outdo best player, which is going to be important. He's going to be a big damage dealer. He needs to be able to keep up in levels to actually fight for this third turtle in First Lord. And BTK in a position now where they can kind of dance a little bit. And I really like Shark on this Ruby pick. I think it's another one of the things that is stopping Cloud9 from being so aggressive. There is this possible threat that if you engage too much and you get locked up too long, you're going down.
Yeah, and we have a little bit of a flank play here. 48 seconds left for this turtle, and you can see BTK starting to set up a lot more comfortable on the map than they have been in the past. Well, at least in the past few games of this series, they're always there, kind of prominent when it comes to these objectives. Now you can see them pushing towers, so they're able to kind of get that map control.
Yeah, and again, Cloud9 not finding a trade from losing that turret on the top side. You're seeing them kind of putting some heavy focus into the mid-river, but BTK quick to respond back and doing a great job on maintaining the pace for this match.
Zia also, having a very clean game right now, but he might not be having one.
That's a little bit of that caster curse right there. Best player able to find Zia Shark on the conceal play out.
All right, I'm just going to stop talking now. No players' names are coming out of my mouth.
Dang you, Trex. Cost Zia. Mobazane able to go ahead, find himself that turtle, though. So they are able to kind of match it up with something, still maintaining a slight gold lead. I want to say this is the first gold lead that BTK has had this entire series.
A little unfortunate, though, as Cloud9. Basic doing a great job on trying to equalize this economy. Is going to be able to take that tier 3 on the bot side. There goes a retry play, though, from Zane onto best player. Not going to really be able to stop him, though, and he's going to be able to defend the tier 2 turret.
RQT also takes a nice chunk of damage. Honestly, it still feels very down the line. BTK up in towers, but I'm wondering, once again, when does the balloon pop, right? When does a team just go all in? Or is this going to get dragged out into First Lord until both teams are forced to go all in and make that big 5v5 happen? Taking a look at the items, back to Zia. I'm sorry, but I got to mention you. You almost got your DHS in. It's almost the Holy Trinity, but Numion Blast does miss out. BTK able to disengage. But yeah, right now, Zia might actually, I wasn't able to check basics, but I think he might be ahead of basic right now.
Yeah, and I want to say that they're doing such a good job of kind of angling, keeping the pressure on different sides. You can see Zane off by himself. The rest of the team kind of split up very well to make sure that they're maintaining the pressure on the rest of these lanes. But the big engagement, not too much. Shark does kind of ward it off. But I want to say the big engagements, the big call will be when we open up these mid towers, when we really open up that jungle for the opposite team.
Well, Trex, he's raising the question, when does the balloon pop? And I'm definitely thinking that balloon is going to be basic, right? I mean, he's on this carry. The later this goes, the more core items he'll be able to stack up, and effectively the harder he's going to be able to hit. So BTK definitely wanted to continue putting on this pressure, but they're doing a really great job so far. We got to see how they kind of play into this Lord, right? If they can take this Lord, then effectively they should be able to take that tier 3 turret in the mid lane. They're going to start the engagement nice and early. The knockup on the Cold World. There goes Internal Guardian dropping down as well, but he's able to sustain himself, and now there's going to be a couple of utility wasted for the side of Bloodthirsty Kings, and the Lord still intact.
That's the point, is you wasted so many utilities to kind of go on the Cold World, don't get the kill, and now you have none of your ultimates left for this objective.
Oh.
Might win. There goes a flicker play, though. A little premature. Numion Blast only going to stun one. That's Chicken. Caught in his tracks. And that's a good read from the Bloodthirsty Kings to create that separation, baiting out some of Cloud9's utility and effectively winning over this Lord.
I'm telling you, this Ruby pick on Shark, man, it is doing the job. And not only that, Zia's having a good game. Overall, the team, and maybe it's the Julian too. Maybe it's Zane finally getting on the Julian, not having to pick up a Paquito. But either way, BTK just feels like a slightly different machine in this game. They feel more comfortable. They feel the ability to dance. They feel the ability to move. And it just seems like a lot of these fights are going into their hands easier than usual.
Yeah, a lot easier than usual. They're starting to put the pressure onto all of the lanes. Lord pushing at bottom. Hoon finds himself a tower. And the split. Look at the split right now between the team. Zane's up by himself over there, able to get those split push. And I was actually worried about the split push coming from best player here. We've seen it before on the Nolan. He's able to create that pressure to where BTK can't answer these fights for like 10 seconds more, or the side of Cloud9 is going to be able to kind of find those angles.
And speaking of angles, able to connect with I'm Offended play. Mobazane finding Cold World. No Numion Blast for Cloud9. BTK looking to punish Zia. Joining the party finds Nats. There's going to be 2 members falling for Cloud9. And BTK not losing a single member.
And even there, we see Nats come in, tries to use a demonic force, gets stopped by Shark just for enough time for the team to burst him down. Cloud9 has to be careful about how they take these fights.
Yeah, go in. There you see the Pride of Ice be activated over there by Marcutie. A little bit of a window for opportunity, and they're gonna take it. Look at the base crystal minions quickly dropping. Cloud9 members starting to spawn in. Nats now joining the party. They don't have minions in range for the base crystal, and BTK will disengage.
Ooh, I mean, you live to fight another day. This game is still firmly in BTK's favor right now. A 7K gold lead for them. Only one more high ground left for the side of Cloud9. A very different game than we've seen from the first 3.
Yeah, very different, very different game. 7,000 gold lead for BTK. Even in the past, when they were winning out in fights, they were normally behind in gold, but this time it is completely in their hands. And they have some picks that are actually countering Cloud9 this time. They have some picks that are actually answers. Even Marcutie, those Frigid Glaciers aren't as important, right? Because the rest of the team can't dive in on top of BTK when he lands them. Taking a look at the items, Mobazane almost completely stacked out. He has a 2K gold lead, a little over a 2K gold lead over best player right now. Luckily, best player has hit level 15, so he can at least retry along with the best of them, but it's not going to be easy because he has to get on a Noland. It's not a Hayabusa where you can just, quad shadow in. He has to get pretty up close and personal, look for that fracture play, look for that steal.
Yeah, and it's not going to be the easiest setup for Cold World as well. I mean, we haven't really get to see too many of those Numion blasts hit the mark. I mean, a couple of times we may catch Chicken, may catch Shark out of position, but not finding the setups that Cloud9 can make the most of. Speaking of setups, Nat's forced to join the battle. Taken down by Hoon, 1 member falling for Cloud9, which will give BTK the advantage for this Lord play. But best player, Marcutie, Cold World, Basic, they're not going to let it go for free. They're going to continue to engage. There goes a big Numion blast. That's a Hoon. Best player finding Zia. That's going to be another kill. Mobazane able to find one as well. Zia will fall. The ADC no longer standing for BTK. Hoon able to find best player. Zane finding Basic. Retribution in BTK's favor. Should be able to secure this Lord and able to win that trade, but they're going to go in. I think they're going to try and close it out. They're going to try and take match point away from Cloud9. There goes the knock-up, the stun, and Marcutie will fall. Nas left alone all by himself, wondering, how did I get here? And BTK will reign supreme and secures game number 4 against Cloud9.
Yeah, if you thought they were out